Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do the 2020 outlook for the sign of Cancer. All right, Cancers, you are up next, and this is going to be a general reading, right, for your year, just to see what the outlook might be like for some of you Cancers, right? What the majority of the year is going to sort of encompass for you. You know, whether it be a year for career moves or love moves or, you know, year of growth and realization, whatever the case may be. But these readings are for you generally a quite specific situation. And so if it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine, right? Just take whatever applies to you. Even if the entire reading isn't exactly about your situation, but there may be aspects of it that you can get some clarity from or get some reassurance from, then go ahead with that also, right? Okay, guys, so we're going to pull out a simplified Celtic spread for you. You can see the cards are upside down. And then we're going to pull out some clarifiers with the Thoth deck, and we're going to round out your reading with an Animal Spirit card and a Sacred Rebel Oracle card, right? All right. Give it another good shuffle, Cancer. I have already been really shuffling and thinking about your energy for quite some time, so yes, let's get into it. And thank you to all of you who have been leaving such beautiful comments to me about my channel and my reading style and how much you've appreciated. More than anything, the comments I get back from you guys is really sort of inspirational, and I really appreciate it. So let's get right into it. You have 9 of Pentacles, covered with a 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, 8 of Swords. Okay, a 3 of Swords. Interesting. And you have a 9 of Wands. So, yes, some of these cards have been coming up lately for a lot of people, right? Let's just get this. Hang on a second. And there we go. And at the bottom of the deck, we have 4 of Wands. So, new beginnings in relationships. So let me just quickly go into 4 of Wands first. Oh, lovely. We have Ace of Cups underneath. All right, 4 of Wands is the 1111 card, right? And I do have a video on 1111. I'm going to link that in the top of this description, where I just go into briefly like what we mean when we say 1111 and why this card is called that and what's associated with regard to soulmate energy. But 4 of Wands is Venus in Aries energy. And so Venus, of course, being the goddess of love and beauty. And then Aries being the beginner, right? The one who forges new territory. So oftentimes 4 of Wands talks about a new, strong love connection happening. 4 is also the number for stability. So this often indicates a new love connection that is right away stable. Right? That is stable because of the compatibility of both individuals and their desire, their mutual focus and desire. And this is a lot of the reason why this card is associated with a twin flame or soulmate energy, with someone that you're very much feel like you're meant to be with, but that also is a new relationship, right? And that also has a lot of stability in it. Now, remember, just because you have a soulmate connection doesn't mean that, or a strong love connection doesn't mean it's the right connection for you. 4 of Wands indicates that it must also be stable, right? It's not good enough for you guys to really love each other. It has to also be a stable connection for it to be a true sort of like healthy soulmate or twin flame joining. All right, so let's get right into your spread, Cancer. This year for you, your main objective is going to be yourself in terms of building your career, taking care of yourself. 9 of Pentacles is someone who's very ambitious. And again, pretty much all of the readings so far I've done for the 2020 outlook have included a year of a lot of abundance and wealth coming in all areas, right? And so 9 of Pentacles is that individual who has really become a master at their craft. This is somebody who is really good at what they do. They've worked really hard to be good at what they do, and the fruit of their labor that they see around them is absolutely deserved because they worked for it, right? This can also indicate that now rewards are starting to come in, and can also indicate that you've risen to a certain level of wealth or affluence also, right? Nine of Pentacles oftentimes can indicate that you resonated up with regard to your physical environment, in the sense that now you may have a certain lifestyle, you may have a certain sense of authority, etc., etc. That all comes with an increase of status because your wealth has increased. You're covered with a 10 of Pentacles, which is what I'm going to say is that this year you resonate from a 9 of Pentacles to a 10 of Pentacles because of a love connection. Let me explain this. The 9 of Pentacles, with all the 9 cards, we have inherent in them a sense of the Hermit. Because, of course, the Hermit is the 9 in the major arcana. And so with the 9 cards, we find generally, well, with all of them, we find an individual who is alone, okay? Who is experiencing this path or this stage in their life on their own. And for you, Cancer, yes, you come into this year very much sort of walking your own path with regard to your business and finance. You definitely have a lot of wealth and rewards starting to come in. But what is still missing is that wealth and reward of a love connection. Here, when we get up from the 9 of Pentacles, when we resonate up to the 10 of Pentacles, now we see a family. Now we see a joining, and we see the type of wealth that can sustain a lineage, right? Because we have a crescent there, we have the grandfather there, and the children at the feet. So this indicates wealth and a blessing coming in of family and of having a healthy relationship and union to be able to continue your sort of seed, basically to have children and continue your family line, right? And so the missing ingredient between someone who is at 9 of Pentacles and someone who resonates up to 10 of Pentacles is, of course, a love connection, right? It's the love connection that turns this into this. It's the last sort of blessing, right? The last blessing. And even though it's a Pentacles card, love relationships can still be a feeling of wealth. You have a feeling of wealth in your life because you're blessed to have this connection, to have this happy union, and to be able to be together and live together and have this life together. This is all actually part of Pentacle energy because it's about the material world, the flesh and blood world, the reality that we live in. Right? And that reality is where we have our relationships. It's where we have our houses and where we live and where we sleep together and all of that, right? And so a lot of, so in this way, with 9 of Pentacles, of course, we find a missing ingredient is a love connection. With 9 of Cups, it is also the same. With 9 of Cups, the missing ingredient going from happiness and feeling blessed to really resonating up to 10 of Cups is that long-term connection. And so for you, you have this 4 of Wands because I believe that this year it's going to come into you, Cancer. All right, let me take a sip of water. Excuse me. Let's get into your energies. At the conscious and unconscious, in your conscious level, you have a 10 of Wands. And this really talks about being ready to let go. Okay, so some of you, I believe you're calling in this energy of a love connection. This is obviously for a Cancer who is very, very successful, who has up until not had a love connection, or perhaps had a love connection that was unhappy. And we're going to get into that. But you, for some of you, yes, you were with someone and it was probably an extremely toxic situation, but you're absolutely ready to let it go. One of the other blessings that you have coming into you, Cancer, is the blessing of letting go, the blessing of self-realization and understanding that allows you to truly let go of the past and truly let go of any sort of like baggage or hang-ups that you've held on to, or any sort of feelings that you've held on to that have been keeping you back from really moving forward and allowing a new love connection to come in. 10 of Wands talks about that completion, right? And this is your focus this year. And so you feel very good. And of course, this is the law of attraction. By letting go of this toxic energy, you create a vacuum for positive energy to come in. Now, in the back of your mind, you have an Eight of Swords. And this is, of course, my gaslighter card. This is my toxic energy card. The Eight of Swords is an individual who is so sort of obstinate and so restricted in their way of thinking that they alienate themselves from others. They find themselves constantly at odds with others. They don't really allow other people an opinion. This is the individual who oftentimes will blame others as well for their own shortcomings. You see that they're bound and blindfolded, but this is as a result of their own behavior. Yet they act as though there's nothing they can do about it, right? So this is the great victim, right? I call this my victimizer card. This is the person who always plays the victim, always blames everyone else for their inability to sort of be healthy, right? Eight is the number for strength, right? Major Arcana 8 is the strength card, but it's also associated with boundaries and the boundaries that we put in place to maintain our strength. And here we see somebody who has been so overly restrictive with the way they think and the way they see the world that they've sort of they've really caused themselves to be cut off. The boundaries that are too severe, right? There's no way for them to cross over and really interact with somebody in a healthy way. And it's interesting, Cancer, that you would have this in the back of your mind, because I think for a lot of you this year, you're probably dealing with the healing of a relationship that you had with someone like this, someone who's very, very toxic. And I think that, of course, a lot of the baggage you're trying to lay down is sort of the remnants of this relationship, right? I think you realized, part of healing from a toxic relationship is accepting your part in it. All right. For those people who are still very bitter and angry and sort of blaming their toxic ex all the time, they are not necessarily healing. They may believe that they're healing, but you can't really truly heal until you accept your own responsibility in any situation. Why did you continue to stay with this person? Or why did you allow yourself to take on some of this baggage? Have you really looked at your own behavior since leaving this person? And are you truly happy with the type of person you are now? Have you really been honest with yourself about some of the scars and baggage and leftover sort of issues and emotions that you may have adopted as a result of this relationship, right? We have to be very, very honest with ourselves, right? And that's true healing. And I think for a lot of you Cancers, this is what you're doing this year, right? You are trying to heal from this sort of toxic energy. It could also be that some of you may be resonating with a little bit of this toxic energy and this Eight of Swords energy, in the sense, right, that you may still be feeling very much like a victim. It's interesting that this card is the card for the narcissist and the toxic person, the gaslighter, but it is also sort of for the card for the person who constantly complains about being victimized by the gaslighter. Do you see what I'm saying? If you're still sort of very much always talking about how you were such a victim at the hands of all of this toxic energy, you're resonating with a little bit of this energy yourself, and you really have to face up to it. And so by this being in the back of your mind, you may indeed be thinking a lot about this relationship or a previous relationship. And also for some of you, you may still be going a little bit around in houses saying to yourself, well, what can I do? I'm like this because I just got out of a toxic relationship. I mean, I understand that there may be some truth in that. But if the buck stops there, then it's just blaming, right? It's just assigning blame somewhere without any progress, right? And so in a lot of ways, you really are this year, I think you're working through all of this and you're trying to heal from all of this. And I definitely think that if you are resonating with this energy, it is because you had been dealing with someone who was very, very, who caused you a lot of pain, Cancer, and it's only natural that you would feel to a certain degree like a victim, right? But be careful that doesn't make you a victim, you know what I mean? Or that doesn't continue to allow yourself to be that role. You come in with a Three of Swords this year, and this is why I feel that this is very much a case of a broken heart or relationship where somebody really sort of played you in a way, right? Three of Swords is oftentimes the card that's associated with cheating energy or people who are infidelity, right? Or things like that, right? But the reason why is that it's a deeper essence. 3 is the number for bonding and loyalty. And with 3 of swords, we see that the heart is pierced by these swords because the swords have broken the trust and the loyalty. This is a card where the communication that somebody is exhibiting is false, or it is not in line with what they told you. They've lied to you, or they've lied about their true feelings, or they've treated you in some way that has really broken your trust, right? This is a pain to the heart, but it's a pain to the ego as well. A lot of times people forget that this is a swords card. It's not a cup card. It's interpreted as a cup card often because I think people just see the heart and they just immediately, but it is actually a swords card. And so the real pain here is not so much to the heart, but it is in a way to the ego because somebody, played on your intelligence. They may have, tried to play you for. Whenever somebody lies to us, whenever we catch somebody lying to us, or we catch somebody being disloyal to us, it's a blow to our ego because it feels like we were tricked. Right? And this is really the deeper essence of this 3 of swords. And of course, the most simple example of that is if somebody cheats on you, right? If somebody tells you they love you and then you find out they were cheating on you, that's like the most simple example of breaking your loyalty and your trust. But this can also happen with somebody just by the way they talk to you or by the way they treat you because of it being a swords card. In either case, it's a real blow to the ego, and it's because of these type of dynamics that a lot of people are hurting the most from, right? It's these type of scenarios that really hurt us the most and take us the longest to heal. And I'm pretty sure that part of you is feeling a little bit like a victim because if you have been going through this with somebody, to a certain degree, you do feel like it's not your fault that they lied to you. And so in that way, yes, you are a victim of their lies, but you still have to move past that, right? And so you may be very valid in your feelings, but nevertheless, you are calling in a love connection this year. And I think that a lot of you Cancers are really working on yourselves and really working through these issues because you're coming into this year with a conscious focus to letting go. And I think a lot of you are just sick and tired of this feeling that you had. You just don't want to have it anymore. And oftentimes this is it. That's when we finally get sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's usually when we're really truly ready to let go. Now, this 9 of Wands is interesting. You round the year off being really sort of reevaluating, looking back, right? And just kind of, going over everything that happens, really sort of contemplative, right? You're very contemplative toward the end of the year because I think the beginning of the year, a lot of you are going to come in and the pain is going to be quite fresh. But throughout the year, you're going to come to this. Remember, 10 of Wands is when you're ready to lay it down, but 9 of Wands is a crucial stage before that when you really have to face up to it. This is what I was talking about earlier down here. When we talk about healing from a toxic situation, oftentimes there's other things within ourselves and our behavior patterns that we really have to face up to. That's what happens at the stage with 9 of Wands. And so although you have a focus for really wanting to kind of get over this and get past this, it's almost as if, that's your focus. That's what your intention is. That's what you want to do. But the real work is like a step back with the 9 of Wands here when you're actually facing up to everything that you have to lay down. You have to go through a 9 of Wands period to actually have a productive 10 of Wands in a sense of truly letting go. You have to have this period where you are really sort of facing up to everything that you've adopted or taken on or that you've accumulated, right? And really face up to, the effect that this relationship has had on you. Not just the effect that it has had on how you feel and being hurt, but the effect that it has had on who you are and your personality, the way you behave, the way you conduct yourself, right? The way you think about yourself and others. That effect too, that's the effect that we're talking about. Those effects are the things that we need to sort of face up to and get rid of if they're not representative of who we truly are, right? And so this year is going to be a year of you really working from this situation, working from this healing, right? But it promises to be a year where you absolutely welcome in a new lover or a new love that really takes you where you want to be. And I think a lot of that is because of the shadow work that you're doing, because you are really facing up to a lot of, the baggage you've collected and healing from it properly, right? With intention. It's difficult. It's a hard road. It's not going to be easy, but it gets easier and easier, and it fills you with a great sense of power when you do it, right? When you truly face up, there's nothing more powerful and self-affirming than when you are able to face up to the darkest parts of yourself, accept them, and then let them go, right? Realize that they're there and then let them go intentionally. That is a form of self-transformation that we associate with the Queen of Wands, and it's one of the reasons really for sort of increasing your self-confidence and your power center. All right, let's get some clarity cards just to see, and then we're going to pull out your animal spirit and your oracle card. Sorry about background noise. I'm in a city and it's all like traffic and everything. All right, so we have Prince of Wands and the World. We have the Princess of Discs, and there's your Four of Wands again. Okay? Bottom of the deck, we have a Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands in the Thoth deck is the same as the King of Wands in the traditional deck. And the the Prince of Wands is the same as the Knight. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm going to move this over here and put this right here. All right? So let's get into this. This Prince of Wands, so it's the same as Knight of Wands, Ten of Wands. You got a lot of power, a lot of energy. You're really sort of resonating with a lot of enthusiasm, and motivation. I think for a lot of you, because you are resonating with these beautiful blessings coming in, remember, Nine of Pentacles talks about rewards beginning to come in, you resonating higher with your abundance and status. I think you're very excited coming in this year, and you are ready to let it go because you're experiencing so much creative sort of self-confidence in other areas of your life. I feel like for a lot of you Cancers, you may have been dealing with this heartache for quite some time, but because you've been working so hard in other areas of your life, you really are getting a push, a fiery boost in a way to be able to follow your heart and to be able to lay down this Ten of Wands with this sort of Prince of Wands energy. The Prince of Wands leads. You see, he leads with his heart, and he's passionate and confident, right? And he understands the nature of sort of believing in yourself, right? Believing in yourself, and when you truly want to accomplish something, you accomplish it. And I think this is a real awakening for you. And certainly, this is what happens when we work in other areas of our lives, even if perhaps the emotional side or relationship side of your life may have been struggling, or may have been an area in your life where there's been a lot of turmoil and sadness. When we continue to work on our other areas of life, when we begin to sort of get rewards and blessings coming in for all that hard work, it's that sort of self-confidence that helps us to deal with these difficult times, right? It's all about self-confidence and believing in yourself, and when you get such a big boost in your career perhaps area with this Prince of Wands, obviously with this money resonating and this sort of status coming in. Now with this Eight of Swords in the World card, I think for some of you, this year you're also realizing that perhaps you had to go through this situation with this person for you to be who you are today. And I think a lot of this contemplation that's going on with this Knight of Wands is really sort of a wisdom that comes in for some of you, that you realize, you realize that, maybe I did to a certain degree choose for this scenario, right? Or maybe I stayed in it a little bit too long, but there was a lesson to be learned here. And, while while the pain of it was something I could have lived without, the lesson was more important, because the universe now is shining on you. And for a lot of you, everything that you went through in this relationship is helping you now in this year in your life. And so I think for a lot of you, you're feeling kind of this gratitude in the sense that, wow, I know at the time I was put in this situation, in this relationship that was really unhappy and painful and hard to come out of also. But it's like, it's such a blessing now, because the lessons that I learned, I would have never learned before. And now I can really see. When the universe comes in, it's kind of like we get an understanding of why we had to go through certain things in our lives. And there's a feeling of really of gratitude coming in, because the universe also talks about being very fated and destined. You know, fate has his eyes on you in a sense that everything is working out for you, and it feels very much like you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And it's at those times in our lives that we begin to sort of let go of the resentment of any traumas we've been through, because we truly feel that were it not for everything we've lived through, we would not be in this great position, and we wouldn't sort of trade that for anything, right? So again, of Discs. Well, Princess of Discs is beautiful, practical. She understands the nature of really tapping into the earth to get anything accomplished. You know, putting hard work in, where you're trying to sort of bring a creative idea into manifestation. It requires all of your sort of physical attention, right? All of your time and effort. And so, like I said earlier, for a lot of you, you have been putting so much time and effort into your career and your business, which is now resonating up so nicely. It was this work that really helped you get through this Three of Swords, I believe, right? It was this sort of eyes on the prize attitude that you had, this real being very, very practical and moving forward in a lot of ways that really sort of allowed you to continue, thank God, working on your business or your career, so that now the abundance and the wealth that's coming in is giving you, it's like it's doubling back. Now this confidence and everything and strength that you're getting through this is now going to help you to double back now and finally finish healing from this situation, right? And so here we are. Nine of Pentacles again is covered by the Four of Wands. Here we are, Venus and Aries energy, just like I said down here. This is the same card. They're both Four of Wands, but this is just the thought deck, and again, this contemplative sort of really sort of looking back, you know, on everything that you've been through, and looking back on everything that you've sort of had to deal with, and some of the work that maybe you had to do on yourself to get yourself back on your square and back in a healthy emotional state, right? This is all part and necessary for this new sort of relationship to come in, right? It's a law of attraction, and I think for a lot of you, it's this sort of sense, this strength that you have of sort of going through this, facing up to this, right? That is going to be the attraction for someone, right? So this new relationship that's going to come into your life, this new love connection that will come into your life, it's very much like a case of law of attraction. You're resonating up so well because of you really facing up to a lot of the difficulties for the relationship that you had to deal with, etc. You know what I'm saying? And it's like somebody sees that and they're very attracted to your strength. They're really attracted to like everything that you're sort of manifesting, right? I'm going to say for some of you, it could very well be that you find this new love connection when you are, you know, doing healing work somewhere, right? Or if you're doing sort of counseling work or something like that, or you're going to counseling on your own, doing like your own healing. Right. But in any case, you know, I feel like this new connection is definitely coming in for you in a sense because you're being so kind of healthy and honest with yourself. You're being so healthy and facing up to these issues, right? And clearing all of this out. You know, that you're bringing in a healthy connection, a new connection that is a strong and healthy one. And also, there is definitely a feeling, I think, that I have that some of you Cancers are really going to just have this air about you of someone who's been through it, right? But it's a very strong, sort of regal kind of head up, you know, I'm keeping my head up attitude that you're having, right? And I think that that also is something that somewhere out there, this love connection is attracted to you, right? They're attracted to you because they see that. It's almost like they see you as like, you know, the wounded sort of Cancer who's being strong and getting their life together. And it's very inspirational to them, you know. And this is what I mean to say. It's that this is that strength that you're emitting and that character that you're emitting is what is pulling in somebody very strongly to you later on this year. And this person, I feel, is going to be very compatible to you. Now, let's pull out your animal spirit and see what animal spirit you're resonating with this year. The elephant, there you go. All right, so the elephant is, of course, associated with the Hindu god Ganesh, and we're talking about blessings of wisdom and wealth. And this is it. This year, you have a blessing in wisdom, right? You have an awakening in yourself and an understanding that comes in with self confidence. You have a huge amount of fortune and blessings and actual financial blessings that are coming in, which is also associated with Ganesh. And Ganesh is also the destroyer of obstacles. So this year, all your obstacles are destroyed in a sense. Any obstacle that you had in the way of your healing and coming out of the situation is gone. Like I said, the universe has its eye on you right now. And this year, it almost seems as though everything is just working out really nicely for you. This has been the reading for a lot of my collective. So far, you're the fourth reading I think I've done. And it's again been, my collective, the people who are resonating with my readings, they are all having a really wonderful year this year, and they're really having a lot of blessings of understanding and wisdom, and of course, a lot of blessings of finances, and certainly obstacles. And so with the universe, we talk about again that, yeah, this is why it feels like fate has their eyes on you, because the obstacles that were in your way before, perhaps some of the obstacles that were in your way to completely letting go of this connection or the pain that was with this connection is gone. It's just suddenly gone through no sort of, you wanted it gone. You probably have been working on it for quite some time, Cancer, but now it truly is gone, because it's almost as if, it's like the universe is helping you with all of this. Really nice. Really, really nice. This is going to be a really free-flowing year with not many obstacles for you, Cancer, definitely, and a year of love coming in, and certainly a lot of finances. Let's get your oracle card out, and then we're going to call this a reading. Wow, so nice. And I'm so happy for you, because some of you are finally going to get that closure and that healing that you wanted. And it's like right behind it comes your true love connection coming in. All right, we're going to pull your one oracle card for the year. We have Visions of Life Beyond Death. Wow. Really, really beautiful. Now, just as I have been saying for you, Cancer, this is a year of awakening for you and realization. And not only are you ready to lay down, but there is sort of the obstacles, right, that have been stopping you are being sort of blown away. And with visions of life beyond death, we are talking about vision coming in, the truth coming in. When we see the truth of a situation, the truth vision of a situation, and not the vision that we had wanted to hold on to, right, or the mistaken sort of delusion of something, but when the universe shows us in a way the true situation, we're able to sort of let go of things because we see it for what it really is, right? But we see it in a loving way. And this is the kind of truth that comes in that allows you to actually finally let go of any sort of pain that you had been holding on to here, right? It's not like you don't care. You know that it was a loss, but it's like realizing that there is life after death. It's like realizing that there is love after this. You realize, and you know in your heart of hearts with this true vision that comes in, that there is a beautiful, if for instance you knew for a fact, right? If you had a vision and the universe told you for a fact after sort of like coming out of a toxic relationship like this, right? That your true soulmate, who you would be with and love, and who would love you exactly the way you want to be loved, is coming into you, and you will be together for the rest of your days. And this was an absolute definite sort of avenue, right? And you were told this somehow, right? Even after you've come out of this toxic situation, this is a moment where you would absolutely be able to let go of this and move forward in positivity and happiness, right? It's the same type of thing. It's having visions or having life affirmed to you without a shadow of a doubt that there is in fact life beyond death. And so that makes any difficult situation livable, bearable, and more than anything, you're able to sort of see the bigger picture and move past it and truly heal from it. And so I think this is what's happening for you this year, Cancer. This is a really, really beautiful, beautiful sort of blessing that's coming in. This oracle as well can tell you that often indicates also that spirit guides are out there watching you and protecting you. right? So for those of you who feel your spirit guide strong this year, they are absolutely in your life. And they're also going to be one of the reasons why you're starting to see this sort of vision of a particular scenario of your life, right? Of some of the difficulties here. You're going to really be able to see the truth in it. And it's going to allow you to absolutely leave it behind in a very healthy and positive way. All right, guys, this is your relationship. This is your 2020 outlook for Cancer. This is going to be a great, great year for some of you in terms of healing. And definitely with the finances coming in, Elephant definitely is a sign of rewards, blessings, right? The destroyer of obstacles that makes the path, the way for us. And definitely some of you are going to be inviting in a new, strong soulmate relationship with somebody that is very stable and happy for you. All right, guys. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and share. I'm starting to lose my voice, so I'm just going to sign off. Thank you so much, Cancer. You know how much I love you. Leave me a comment below, and don't forget to come back in December, mid-December, for the mid-December reading. But for right now, have a wonderful rest of 2019, and I shall see you in 2020. Bye-bye now.